It's 11:58 p.m. on a quiet weekday night. You're half asleep, scrolling mindlessly, when your phone vibrates with a sound you've never heard before. The screen flashes an emergency alert. International security level raised. Remain indoors until further notice. No details, no explanation, just a sentence that feels heavier the longer you read it. You look outside. The neighborhood is still no cars, no voices, not even the wind. Then, far away, you hear it. A low mechanical hum. Not an engine you recognize. Slow and steady, growing louder. Your news feed is chaos. Contradictory headlines, shaky live streams, wild theories. Social media is worse panic posts, recycled footage, fake breaking news. You can't tell what's real. A second alert appears. Allied military forces placed on maximum readiness. Avoid travel. Streetlights on your block flicker once, twice, and die. The hum deepens, echoing between buildings. You glance at the clock. 12:00 a.m. Exactly. Somewhere, right now, decisions are being made that could change everything before morning. Maps are being redrawn. Borders are being crossed. Timers are already running. The countdown isn't a theory. It's not tomorrow's problem. It's happening now. And the real question is no longer if the clock is ticking, it's how much time do we really have and what will you do with it? Right now, the global map is a minefield of flashpoints, each one capable of setting off a chain reaction. The question isn't whether a spark will happen, it's which one will come first and how fast the flames will spread. In Eastern Europe, the war in Ukraine has ground into a brutal war of attrition. Russia, unable to claim a quick victory, digs in deeper. Western weapons flow in, precision-guided and lethal. Moscow answers with missile barrages, cyber intrusions, and rhetoric that sounds less like diplomacy and more like a warning. NATO troops patrol with silent intensity. Airspace near the borders becomes a chessboard of fighters, bombers, and reconnaissance drones. One wrong move, one radar lock, could push the situation past the point of no return. In the Pacific, China's pressure on Taiwan is no longer subtle. Warplanes skirt airspace daily. Naval formations encircle shipping lanes. Every exercise looks more like a rehearsal for blockade. U.S. forces reinforce in Guam, Japan, and the Philippines. The Pentagon calls it deterrence. Beijing calls it provocation. The rest of the world watches a high-stakes poker game where the smallest misread could flip the table. In the Middle East, Iran and Israel are engaged in a shadow war that keeps spilling into daylight. Missile strikes, drone swarms, sabotage, none of it is hypothetical. Proxy militias fan the flames from Syria to Yemen. The risk isn't just a regional war. It's that such a war drags in the US, Russia, and NATO allies almost overnight. On the Korean Peninsula, North Korea tests missiles at an unprecedented pace, some with intercontinental range. Each launch is a signal. We can reach you. South Korea and Japan respond with joint drills, but Pyongyang doesn't blink. Its rhetoric is sharp, its arsenal real. These aren't isolated headlines. They are threads woven into the same fabric, a fabric stretched so tight that any tear could rip it apart. Each region feeds the tension of the others. The danger isn't just one war breaking out, it's that they all might, at once. When you see the board as a whole, you realize the fuse isn't in one place, it's everywhere, and it's burning from both ends. In movies, the hero always arrives in the final seconds. Cutting the right wire, stopping the missile, saving the day. Real life doesn't work like that. The clock doesn't slow down for dramatic effect, and there's no guarantee that someone else will fix the problem before it reaches you. When global tensions boil over, events unfold in hours or even minutes, and there is no pause button. You can't control what happens in military command rooms, in political back channels, or behind closed doors where decisions are made that will shape the world. What you can control is whether you're ready when the shift happens, when the news changes from speculation to confirmation, from rumor to reality. That's why the countdown matters. It's not just about knowing the clock is ticking, it's about accepting that it will eventually reach zero, whether you believe it or not. Preparedness isn't paranoia. It's an investment in your own stability when everything else is unstable. It's not about expecting the worst every day, it's about making sure that if the worst comes, you can move with purpose while others freeze. And the time to prepare isn't after the sirens, after the blackout, After the networks go silent, it's before. Always before. Because when the clock hits zero, the window to act is already closing. Forget the black and white images of soldiers storming beaches or tanks rolling across open plains. A modern world war would not look like the history books. It would start in silence, in the invisible realm where lines of code replace lines of troops. Cyber attacks would strike first, targeting power grids, banking systems, hospitals, and communication networks, leaving entire cities blind and disconnected. Satellites could be jammed or destroyed, cutting off GPS navigation and satellite internet in an instant, isolating regions and crippling transport. An electromagnetic pulse, or EMP, could wipe out electronics over hundreds of miles in seconds, turning modern infrastructure into dead weight. Supply chains would collapse almost immediately, grocery shelves emptied in hours, fuel stations drained before most people even realize what's happening, essential medicines vanishing from pharmacies. While governments exchange nuclear threats, the early casualties wouldn't come from mushroom clouds but from the breakdown of systems we depend on every day. And as if the physical chaos weren't enough, misinformation would flood social media, spreading fear faster than facts. Rumors of attacks could trigger real panic. Genuine threats could be ignored because no one trusts the source. The opening hours of such a conflict wouldn't roar with explosions. For most people, they'd arrive with the quiet dread of a dead phone, the stillness of a refrigerator gone warm, the eerie calm of streets waiting for help that never comes. That's the reality of a modern world war. It wouldn't just fight on the battlefield, it would pull the battlefield into your living room before you even knew it had begun. In every major disaster, the survivors are not always the strongest, fastest, or most skilled. They are often the ones who stayed calm while others lost control. Panic is a predator that feeds on your ability to think. It tightens your chest, narrows your focus, and forces you into impulsive reactions when deliberate action is what you need most. In the opening hours of a crisis, fear will push people toward rash choices, running when they should stay put, staying when they should leave, speaking when they should remain silent. Your first weapon in a world sliding toward chaos is not a bug-out bag or a hidden stash of supplies. It is the ability to think clearly under pressure. That begins by changing your mindset today. Replace "it can't happen here" with "it could happen tomorrow, and I will be ready." Accepting that the unthinkable is possible does not mean you live in fear. It means you live with awareness, carrying a quiet readiness beneath your daily routine. You can still enjoy life, work your job, spend time with your family, and laugh with friends, but you do it knowing that if the world tilts, you won't freeze. When the countdown hits zero, there will be no announcement telling you it's time to act. The signal will be the silence around you, and in that silence, the people who have prepared mentally will already be moving, while the rest are still trying to process what's happening. If the countdown reaches zero, your first moves matter more than anything you do afterward. The order you take them in, the speed at which you make them, and the clarity with which you think could mean the difference between safety and chaos. Step 1. Assess your risk zone. Don't guess no. Look at a map and mark the high-value targets: military bases, ports, major cities, energy plants, government buildings. If you live within range of any of them, understand that you may have minutes, not hours, to make your decision. In some cases, the safest option is to leave immediately. In others, staying put could be the only way to avoid being caught in traffic, trapped in a panic-fueled stampede. Step 2. Secure water and calories. The rule of 3 is not a cliché: 3 minutes without air, 3 hours without shelter in extreme conditions, 3 days without water, 3 weeks without food. Fill every container you own: bathtubs, sinks, pots, buckets, storage bins. It doesn't matter if they were spotless 5 minutes ago. Water now is survival later. If you have a filter, set it up. If not, boiling is your next best option. For food, think shelf life and calorie density. Rice, pasta, canned beans, peanut butter, protein bars, freeze, dried meals if you have them. Forget gourmet, you're buying time, not taste. Step 3. Get analog intel. When the digital grid buckles, a hand crank or battery-powered radio could be the only thing standing between you and complete isolation. Know your local emergency broadcast frequencies before you need them. Don't just own the radio, practice using it now. Step 4. Gather essentials. This is the time for speed, not perfection. Documents, IDs, passports, cash in small bills, prescription meds, flashlight, extra batteries, power banks fully charged, hygiene basics, sturdy weather-appropriate clothing. Imagine you'll be living out of your car or a stranger's basement for 3 days and pack accordingly. Comfort is optional, continuity is not. Step 5. Lock in communication plans. If you have family or roommates, designate a rally point now. Write down important numbers not in your phone, but on paper. Phones fail, batteries die, networks clog. Sometimes SMS still gets through when calls don't, so know what you'll text if you have one chance. If you live alone, connect with a neighbor or nearby contact. Even minimal coordination can double your odds. Consider basic signaling tools, a whistle, a flashlight with a strobe setting, even a simple note left in a pre-arranged location. These moves are not about fighting. They're about stabilizing your position in a chaotic environment. You want to be invisible, informed, and unmovable until you have real information about what's happening. Every action you take in these first hours should be deliberate. Avoid anything that wastes time or puts you at unnecessary risk. The window for good decisions will close faster than you think, and once it does, you'll be reacting instead of planning. The prepared make their choices early, act on them decisively, and spend the rest of the crisis conserving energy and resources. The unprepared waste the most precious resource of all time on hesitation, confusion, and false starts. In a world where the countdown has already hit 0, hesitation is an enemy you can't afford. When the clock runs out, it's not just what you do that matters, it's what you don't do. The first mistake is running to the store in a panic. By the time you think of it, so has everyone else. Shelves will be bare, aisles clogged, tempers short. You're not stocking up, you're stepping into a volatile crowd where desperation can turn dangerous in seconds. The second mistake is trusting social media for your primary information. In a crisis, misinformation spreads faster than any official update. Fake videos, altered images, and weaponized rumors will flood your feed. Even legitimate accounts can be hacked or silenced. Your priority must be verified. Local, analog sources, battery-powered radios, emergency broadcasts, direct word from trusted contacts. The third mistake is advertising your preparedness. In stable times, talking about your gear feels harmless. In unstable times, it paints a target on your back. If people know you have supplies, they will remember when theirs run out. Keep your readiness invisible. Don't show your stockpile. Don't share your plans. And don't reveal your location to anyone who doesn't absolutely need to know. The fourth and most dangerous mistake is waiting to be rescued. In large-scale crises, emergency services will be overwhelmed. Response times will stretch from minutes to hours or vanish entirely. Hospitals will overflow. Police will prioritize major incidents, not individual distress calls. If you're counting on someone else to knock on your door and lead you to safety, you're already behind. The mindset you need is one of self-reliance. You are your first responder. You are your family's safety net. You are the plan. Every hour you spend avoiding these mistakes is an hour you keep your options open. In a countdown scenario, every wrong move accelerates the clock. Avoiding them is as much a survival skill as any tool or tactic you can carry. Preparation doesn't have to be extreme, expensive, or complicated, but it does have to start before the countdown ends. The easiest way to begin is small. Build a 3-day supply of food and water for every member of your household. That means 9 meals per person, and at least 3 gallons of clean water each. Choose shelf-stable, calorie-dense items, canned goods, rice, pasta, peanut butter, energy bars, bottled water, or jugs. Store them in a cool, dark place and rotate every few months to keep them fresh. The second step is to secure a battery-powered or hand-crank emergency radio. It's inexpensive, simple to use, and can deliver life-saving information when the internet and cell networks fail. Learn how to tune it to local emergency frequencies now, not during a blackout. Third, write down important phone numbers on paper. Your phone might be dead, broken, or out of service when you need it most. Keep that list in your wallet, your go bag, and somewhere visible at home. Speaking of go bags, build one. It doesn't have to look tactical or military. It just needs the basics to sustain you for 72 hours away from home clothing, medication, identification, cash and small bills, flashlight, spare batteries, hygiene items, and a multi-tool. Pack it so you can grab it in seconds. The fifth step is car readiness. Keep your gas tank at least half full at all times. Fuel stations will be among the first places to shut down or run dry in a panic. Lastly, make a just-in-case plan with the people you live with or care about. Decide on a rally point. Discuss how you'll communicate if networks are down, and agree on who will check on vulnerable relatives or neighbors. This conversation isn't about fear, it's about clarity. One small action a week puts you ahead of the majority of the population. Most people wait until they're already in trouble. You don't have to be most people. Preparedness isn't about hiding from life, it's about protecting the life you have so you can keep living it no matter what happens. Starting now ensures that when the clock starts ticking louder, you're not scrambling for what you should have done months ago. The countdown isn't a sound effect in a movie, it's a reality that's already in motion. Every headline, every military drill, every cyber attack is another tick on the clock. When it reaches 0, there won't be an announcement. You'll know because the world around you will feel different, quieter in some ways, more chaotic in others. Preparedness is not fear, it's control. It's the quiet confidence that when the systems you rely on fail, you won't fail with them. It's knowing that your family can look to you for action instead of panic. It's having a plan when others have only confusion. You can't stop the fuse from burning, but you can choose what you do while it burns. And the time to make those choices is now, not in the middle of the fire. This isn't about building a bunker or living every day in dread. It's about taking small, intentional steps so that if the unthinkable happens, you're ready to think, ready to move, and ready to protect what matters most. When the countdown ends, some people will freeze, waiting for instructions that may never come. Others will act not recklessly, but with purpose. The difference between those two groups won't be luck. It will be preparation. You decide which group you'll be in long before the clock hits 0. And right now, while there's still time left, is when you make that choice. Because once the clock stops, the only thing that matters is what you've already done.